Hey guys, what's up? Today I'm a real hipster, right? Some say, man, you look like a surfer dude. Anyways, let's get back to like some serious stuff, alright? Driving, it's racing time, guys. You gotta race. You know, nowadays in this traffic, you gotta be super skillful to actually efficiently and in the, least time possible conquer our traffic, which got back to pretty terrible again, you know, after all the measures and restrictions are sort of like kind of going away in some forms and yet going crazy in some other ones. What can you do? Alright, let's get to more of verbal and rhetorical, sense and support of the, my claim to digital reality, rather than this material one, right? That so many and are convinced that everything here is so solid and so, I don't know, etched into stone, right? It's all dense, it's all solid, you can't change it, it's not that you can't change it, I shouldn't say that, but that it's like, what you see and what you touch and what you what's right in front of you, okay? That's all. That's what it is. Okay, so there's like two poles of people arguing whether the Earth is flat or a globe spinning in the universe, right? So now both poles, are sort of funny, but I was more interested since we've been hearing like our entire lives about the Earth is a globe, it spins and blah blah blah, and it spins around the sun, and it spins around its own axis, and and so on and so on. We had that regurgitated so-called science in our faces pretty much our entire lives, ever since we were little to like now when we're grown-ups, whatever. And then even when we get older, right, it's still the same, type of stuff going on. So I knew, or I was aware, far less about the other perspective, that actually the Earth is flat, or that it's possible that the Earth is flat, and that the other planets may only be projections of something unknown that nobody can land on from here. And for a few years I was thinking about all sorts of stuff, even before, when I was more I would say more settled with the perception of the Earth being a globe. Honestly, it never really mattered to me, to be completely honest. I live my life the same way, and some people say, well, it doesn't matter what it is. In a way it does. Yes. Because if you think of these being your home, then you're not so focused on what's out there, but basically you're nurturing this place here, because it's in need of nurturing, it's in need of understanding, it's in need of respect, and consideration. Whereas if you're like, this is nothing, it's just one piece, one little tiny rock in the like millions or billions or trillions of them out there floating around with billions or millions of other suns and galaxies and blah blah blah. So it becomes really like insignificant. Like whatever happens here really doesn't matter. Who cares? We'll just go somewhere else and screw the Earth. We can trash it, we can destroy it. There's other opportunities. We'll just go somewhere else and terraform some other planet and execute the same violence and the same aggression and the same rape over that planet. That's what people do. Anyways, so let's get back to how I lived my life just the same way. I'm respectful, I'm considerate, I do as much as I can to minimize the pollution, to minimize the impact, to minimize violence and aggression over other beings and other creatures and the Earth itself. Um, so, at some point, when you truly are honest and sincere, and you start looking into these two models, right? You realize that most things, I'm not going to go into any details because it's really like, I'm just not going to get into it, but a lot of things that, the globe earthers, that's how they're called, and then the flat earthers, that they say that are happening on the globe earth can only happen on the globe earth, which is totally not true, because the other side, even though it's being ridiculed and being called stupid and ridiculous and blah blah blah, and ridiculed with one word, that other side, when you really pay attention to it, and when you find the actual sort of, credible, is anybody credible in that sense? Alright, let's say credible people, which are, in my opinion, not so many of them, but you will find people who will really, really dig into it and really present this model, this flat earth model, this concept in a really sufficient, really amazing way. So you will start thinking about it, wait a second, if this can be true on a flat earth as much as on a globe earth, and if these can be true on a globe earth as much as on a flat earth, just with different principles in a different way, then what's happening here? Wow, what is actually happening here? Huh? Let's look at let's look at where this globe really comes from, right? I'm not here to convince you that the earth is flat. Just give me a second, all right? So let's just dig into where this roundness of earth actually comes from, okay? Now focus on the word sphere. Spherical objects, I mean, there's nothing absolutely dense, there's nothing absolutely material, there's nothing material at all. Everything is digital, everything is like, it's like a sort of a simulation, a projection of reality that does not exist, but through your senses, through your mechanisms of, your illusory self, you are seeing what's in front of you as real. You are experiencing it as real. You're even, you even learned through your consciousness, not as a person. Listen, I'm not saying that you, John, Linda, or whoever you are, learned it, through your, person being here on this earth. No, through a lot of, processes, within the consciousness, you learn to perceive these as real, and even, you even came up with feeling things about this reality, right? Feeling. So you're triggered by this reality emotionally. So your energy is put in motion by certain things when you are presented, this projection to your own self. So you're bouncing off emotions of yourself, of your own imagination. That's what the reality is. Spherical. What's a sphere? People say, oh, it's something that is round. Like, really? Are you sure about that? Now, you may say spherical object, and then you would just say, oh, it's a round object, because sphere means it's something that it's round. But what else a sphere means? A sphere is a certain range, certain environment, in this case, certain range of frequency. So yes, we have spherical objects. They're not objects. They're presented in our reality as objects. So Mars is one spherical object. Then you have, Saturn, another spherical object. Are they really objects that you can actually set your foot on, like a physical foot? You, first of all, don't have a physical foot to set on anything else that would be physical, since there's nothing physical. All right? Imagine and remember, this is nothing but a projection of reality that is not happening. It's happening only because you are projecting it and focusing on it, and not you. Remember, not not George, not Michael, not Sophie, not Stacy, none of you. No, it's the consciousness, it's the collective ego that is projecting itself out there, bouncing ideas off of itself and its own imagination. I have to repeat this because you gotta start understanding this concept, what's actually going on and how you're being manipulated by yourself, by parts of yourself, that you are now trapped in this reality and cannot wake up to the real sense of it. So, spheres are not objects. It only means that in a certain sphere, which is a virtual environment, so therefore it can be anything you want it. So yes, things work out on a flat earth as much as on a globe earth, and as much as on a globe earth also on a flat earth, because it's not determined what it is. It's whatever consciousness wants to pick up on and develop. Okay, so it's being a big push to make this into a globe object, into an object that is round, that is like a circle, but not a circle, but a 3D circle. So, and then there's another one who wants to have it in a different way. But nonetheless, when you focus on what this really is, it's nothing but a type or a range of frequency that belongs to certain simulation. So when you are on Earth, you have to vibe at a certain frequency in order to be on this so-called spherical object or sphere. Alright, in this sphere, this is what we perceive as reality. On another sphere, we perceive, let's say if we were actually on Mars, not just, you know, posting pictures and videos of some simulation called Mars, but if we were actually on Mars, right now, from this type of perception, we see it as an object that appears to be round, right? And maybe even 3D. That's not, you know, you can make a 2D object looking like a 3D. It doesn't mean it is a 3D object. Now, if we were actually on the vibe that you need in order to live on Mars, then we would probably see that very different, and we would look down, or we would look not down, up. These are funny terms, you see, the trap of the perception. So we would look at Mars, at Earth from Mars, and we see it something totally different. See what I'm saying? Or maybe we wouldn't even see it anymore. Maybe that would be invisible to us because it wouldn't be in our range of frequency. So in our range of frequency right here, right now, as this consciousness is aware and presents itself for what it is, this is how we perceive this reality. To have spheres, but not objects. Remember, they're not objects. I'm not trying to brainwash you here that, you suddenly have to start seeing, reality as something that is not solid. I'm trying to help you to become more fluid. Because when you become more fluid, you will start perceiving everything about yourself and everything around you in a very, very different sense. So I am challenging you to be more fluid. I'm not telling you what is and what is not. Sort of, I'm telling you what is not. But you figure out what it is. Alright? And if you can do that, if you can be that open, then a lot of things in your life will change. And a lot of things in your life will switch. And you will suddenly start seeing them very, very differently, maybe much more accurately than what they seem or appear to you for now, or at this current moment. That's what the point is. So challenge yourself, start understanding where sphere really comes from, what's the actual meaning, because then somehow sphere became this round 3D object, right? But sphere never really meant an object. Sphere meant some kind of environment, some sort of range within which things are happening. Now, what is happening? A lot of things. A lot of things are happening. You figure out what's actually happening there, if you can. All right? All right, guys. Later.